Welcome back to The Truth by My Lights. And last segment was about contrasting and investigating the different versions of the truth. And we were going to, as I was saying, we were going to use all kinds of different sources. But because this may be picked up locally, and I do have a great affinity for the Valley of the Blazing Hot Sun, even in the middle of the summer. So I would deal with the local newspaper, which is the Arizona Republic. There is, I think, a Tempe paper. I forget what it's called, and there's a Mesa paper, and there might be there's a few others, some independent papers and stuff here and there, but dominantly you're going to find the local paper is the Arizona Republic. When you go to the newsstands, as they're not called anymore, but the little paper racks or metal racks to hold all the different papers, you're going to find the Arizona Republic, the New York Times, or the Wall Street Journal, or USA Today, and then down at the bottom of the rack, down where you got US Sports or Sports Extra or whatever else, you'll find possibly the Epoch Times. Not always. But the Epoch Times does not have a local section for Phoenix or anything else. It does have a Southern California section that comes with every paper, and that's because I suppose that might be where their one of their offices are, and it's the most relevant city in California, and so they have that as an insert section into their newspaper. So it isn't much of a local paper for for Phoenix or Arizona, but I still recommend that you read it because of the intense the articles that they have in there that cover what really is important to us, as opposed to what the Arizona Republic, which used to just come out and say how conservative it was, even though the policies they backed were not conservative. Now they don't even claim to be conservative. They're outright left-wing, crazed, big government, no actual concrete truths. And everything's all relatives with the Arizona Republic, and everything is also probably, if it's bad, it came from the racism of white people, and they're really just a leftist, big government, anarchist. Actually, it's not anarchist. But it's anarchist for those that are backing what they want. If they're backing what they think is like, okay, so a black guy got shot by a white cop, so people go out and riot in the streets, and that's okay because you can understand why they should riot, because somebody they're feeling upset. But any other kind of anyway, we won't go through that for right now because I just want to look at just what you're getting for your money. In the Epoch Times, you're getting a larger newspaper, so you're getting more actual physical paper for your money. You can see the difference right here in the size, and I believe the Epoch Times is smaller than the old newspapers of yore. And if you ever watch an old movie, you'll see a really old movie. I mean, black and white type. That's the only way they made them. Then you'll see when they're reading newspapers, they're huge. I remember when I was, first started reading papers, you couldn't spread your arms wide enough to fold it if you were a shorter person like myself, only 5'7" or so. But you got to have those long arms to fold it in one motion. But it's pretty interesting to see how big those papers are in those old movies. So, and now the Epoch Times, it costs $4.50 a copy, although they have subscriptions and you can get it for considerably less. And you can also get the Arizona Republic for considerably less than the $2 price tag on the daily paper. and I think it's $3 on the Sunday. Let's see here. Here it is, right here. I'm like, oh, that's because the camera. I gotta remember where the camera is. Okay, this is a Sunday paper that I got here. Yeah, so it's $3. I think the regular one is $2 or $2.50, $2. And it's barely worth either one of those prices, except though, I said something in the last segment about reading junk, and also in the reading for fun, profit, and understanding broadcast that I do. I make a big distinction about reading stuff that's worth reading and reading junk. And I don't read all of the articles in the Arizona Republic because most of them, especially the one, there's just so much junk in there that just little articles about somebody that made some person who's made a difference in some special minority groups, different life and stuff. That's all fine and dandy. We're all supposed to be good to each other and everything. But I like to read, and I like to read the New York Times or the LA Times or any of them, even USA Today, although all you have to do is read the Arizona Republic and you're reading the USA Today. So, but I like to read them just for the same reason I like to listen to broadcasts that are not conservative. And that way I know what they're saying, what kind of lies they're purporting. It's kind of funny because on talk radio, there's like one Democratic leaning talk show out there in the valley. I'm sure there's others in the other parts of the country, but the ratio is probably about the same. There's probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 at least shows that come onto the air that people listen to here in the valley. Sean Hannity, with those guys that took over for Rush Limbaugh, Dennis Prager, what's his name? Gallagher in the morning. What's her name? The lady, can't remember her name. It's a girl that was head of the American Firearms Association. Yeah, she comes on. Anyway, all through the day you have conservatives, and small government, constitutional inspired talk shows going on with people calling in about it and stuff all day long and even all night long. And you have one show that comes on the weekend or something for an hour, and they have a bunch of crazed up there. They put on transgender people to come and cry about how transgenders aren't being treated right. They have all kinds of things on there that backing up the Democratic junk, and they have callers that call in and just say the same things over, and yet you can't. If you try to challenge them, they won't even answer your points. If you call in and talk to them about, well, what about this or that, they start accusing you of this, that, or the other immediate, just like they constantly do in the paper. I mean, in the mainstream media. Okay, so then you go to your print, and you have a little bit more stuff out there in print. But most of it in print is just leftist, big government, do as you're told kind of stuff. And then you go onto the television media, and it's the same thing. You got 90% Republicans are racist just because, or white people are racist just because they're white, just because they're born white and whatnot. The system is racist, blah, 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 all that kind of crap. 90% of that. And 10%, you got Fox News, you got a few other TV shows, and so it's the opposite in talk radio. So anytime you give the people a chance to voice what they want, it comes out that they don't want transgender guys going into the girls' bathroom. They don't want them competing against girls in sports. They don't want kids in grade school being talked about any kind of sex thing. And that's exactly what the crazed leftists want. They want, I can remember even back when I was going to school in the 60s, they were trying to have this concept that there is no actual right and wrong. Wrong is what makes you feel bad, and right is what makes you feel good. And that has got to be the most perverse and convoluted understanding of what right and wrong is. So off the subject a little bit about the newspapers, but back onto it. I read the Arizona Republic because they lie continuously, and they had the most awful and horrible article just recently about this couple who moved here from Minnesota or something, and their little boy somehow thinks he's a little girl, and he's 10 years old. And this must have been going on for a while, because they talk about the move they made from Minnesota to here, or wherever it was from, and they'd been here for a little bit. And when they got here, they felt a whole different comfort zone. Their son, who could have been 9 at the time at the most, their son, who was now becoming a girl or something or other like that, he didn't feel the hate that he felt in wherever it was, Illinois or Minnesota or whatever. And now that Doug Ducey has signed this law about can't teach it into whatever, I'm not sure what the law actually says. I haven't read it. And they don't like to report it too much, because when they start reporting what the law says, everybody goes, yeah, that's a good idea. They don't like that. So they don't report it as much as they can. So I don't know exactly what the law is, but then all of a sudden, because of that law, their little 10-year-old boy who thinks he's a girl, who they're encouraging to think that way, I'm sure, they're vile parents, man. They should be charged with child abuse. Absolutely. That's the most vile thing you can think of, what they're doing to their kid. Letting him indulge because all around them, the newspapers encouraging people to act like that. Has he had a medical diagnosis? Did he get more female hormone then than his body is supposed to? Has he got a genitalia ambiguity? Any of that kind of stuff that's real. Those people that suffer from that stuff, that demeans the reality of what they suffer through by all these people who think it's okay, like Jenner, that thing. God. He got so tired of not having attention like his girls did that he just wanted the attention too. Can you imagine? He felt like a girl all his life. Right. He's a liar, an absolute liar. He made money by coming out on that TV show. So he's an absolute liar and a money grubber, as Elizabeth Warren said. She called Trump a money grubber. What was it? A dirty money grubber or some other stupid thing, like she was in the first grade or something, or she being a money grubber. My God. So the Arizona Republic also, when Mecham, now that's something that my brother pointed out to me, that the hatred for Trump was kind of like similar to the hatred for Mecham when he was elected governor here in Arizona. And I remember the night he was elected governor, that the television crews, and there was one station that was kind of for it, but all the rest of them were all, oh God, what's going to happen now? He's going to start lynching blacks and stuff, I guess, that's what they almost said that one time. And then, but instead of conceding, the Arizona Republic had this big headline in the morning paper. And pick up the morning paper early, right? So they could have waited and print down, but they pretended that they couldn't wait, so they had to go to print. And the headline, and the morning after Mecham had whooped the shit out of Warner, the headline was, "Warner clings to lead." She clings to lead, right? And we were all in the restaurant over there at Jay's, eating breakfast earlier in the morning before I went open the Volkswagen shop. And all these rednecks are all sitting around there with me. I was the only long hair in there at that time. But we're all reading the newspaper. We're all shaking our heads like, "What a bunch of bullshit," good and well that Mecham took it. But Mecham's sin that incest the left and the do-gooders, the bleeding hearts, the whiners, those that want to demagogue anybody who doesn't want to help the poor the way they want the poor to be helped. Those